The people's notice and demand on clarity for sovereign immunity. We, the people, have all political power and all power that you have as trustees, servants, and agents of the people is delegated and granted by us through the various constitutions as trusts. Massachusetts Constitution, Part the First, Article 5. All power residing originally in the people and being derived from them, the several magistrates and officers of government, vested with authority, whether legislative, executive, or judicial, are their substitutes and agents and are at all times accountable to them. We demand an immediate point of clarity regarding sovereign immunity. If we grant you all power, would we have a higher immunity than you would have? If we grant you some type of immunity where you can be clear of lawsuits by us, how are you and attorneys attacking us through legal process? Maxim of law. A delegate cannot delegate. An agent cannot delegate his functions to a sub-agent without the knowledge or consent of the principal. The person to whom an office or duty is delegated cannot lawfully devolve the duty on another unless he be expressly authorized so to do. The people's notice and demand for clarity on sovereign immunity. Notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. I, one of the people, open parentheses, as seen in the 50 state constitutions, Republican in form, and having all political power, close parentheses, sui juris, do present you with this notice and demand that you provide immediate due care by necessity. Please take notice that I, as one of the people, have assembled with the people in order to consult for our common good, and by necessity demand that you give an open and public point of clarity as trustees and servants. Please take notice that the people have all political power, and all power that you have as trustees, servants, and agents of the people is delegated and granted through various constitutions as trusts. Open parentheses, please see evidence below. Section 171, John Locke, Two Treatises of Government. And I quote, "Secondly, political power is that power which every man having in the state of nature has given up into the hands of society, and therein to the governors whom the society hath set over itself, with this express or tacit trust, that it shall be employed for their good, and the preservation of their property." Close quote. Please take notice that this form of government deals with government officials as rulers having power over subjects. However, the Republican forms of government found in the 50 states have servants and trustees that serve under the people, who have the supreme power. And Virginia Constitution Bill of Rights, text of Section 2, people, the source of power. And I quote, that all power is vested in and consequently derived from the people, that magistrates are their trustees and servants, and at all times amenable to them. Close quote. Georgia Constitution, Bill of Rights, Section 2, Origin and Structure of Government. Text of paragraph 1, Origin and Foundation of Government. And I quote, all government of right originates with the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. Public officers are the trustees and servants of the people and are at all times amenable to them. Close quote. Please take notice that as the people have responsibly consulted, it has been made clear that all governments in our Republican form of government are simply trustees and servants, and at all times amenable to the American people, whom they have been entrusted to serve. Yet there seems to be an issue in which the people need immediate clarity. Please take notice that as one of the people, I wish to thank Justice Gorsuch for his November 7th dissent, in which he bravely told, on page 9, how unfair tribunals have been used against the people. He stated this was done in favor of a federal government that has been used by bureaucrats to interpret the law as they see fit, in place of those in the judicial branch to whom the people granted authority. These bureaucrats have usurped authority that was never to be delegated to any other, and by right could not be delegated. In parentheses, see evidence below. Maxim of law. A delegated power cannot be delegated. A deputy cannot have, in parentheses, or appoint a deputy. Maxim. A delegate cannot delegate, an agent cannot delegate his functions to a subagent without the knowledge or consent of the principal. The person to whom an office or duty is delegated cannot lawfully devolve the duty on another unless he be expressly authorized so to do. Close quote. Please take notice that as agents and substitutes of the people, your duty is to protect our rights and property. See evidence below. Massachusetts Constitution, Part the First, text of Article 5. And I quote, all power residing originally in the people and being derived from them, the several magistrates and officers of government vested with authority, whether legislative, executive, or judicial, are their substitutes and agents, and are at all times accountable to them. Close quote. Please take notice that all the magistrates and officers of government acting in legislative, executive, or judicial positions are simply substitutes and agents, and always accountable to the people. And please take notice that, as one of the people, I am demanding a point of clarity to understand what you believe your powers to be relating to the idea of sovereign immunity. All powers are granted to you by the people. Therefore, how have you failed to acknowledge that you could only have sovereign immunity if the people have sovereign immunity? As the people having all political power and the source and creators of your offices and seats, it is my wish and demand that you openly give a public statement about how you could allow, in quotes, so-called adversarial parties to attack the rights of the people, interfere with the right to audit our own elections, and cause interference with the regulation of our internal governments by right. It is my wish and demand that you give this clarity as officers of the Supreme Court. And as a Congressman, Jim Jordan, within 14 days, or it shall be considered a trespass of the highest degree and a willing dissolution of all power granted to you for a breach of trust. This notice is sent to you in the peace and love of Christ, that you may repent and do the first works based on your oath to the people. So please put your full name here. If you agree, you've read this, you've heard this. If you agree, please put your first, middle, and last names right in here. You autograph here, and the date is automatic. You put your email here so you can have a record of this sent to your email. And here is the list of recipients. You click that and you'll access it. You press the green button and you are done. It will send you to a page where you can download it for your records and also send it to your email. All right. Thank you and God bless you.